the ground, this stuff going on. Cool. And you want to download the Mother Love Show, you want to download it on Facebook or Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. We all over the place. Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible. I don't know why I say that, these are. And Podcast Addict and Geo Savan. We are here today with Mr. Prime Blaq. He is the founder and creator of the $1 Billion Bangers. He is a producer, a rapper. He just can do everything. That's what we call him, the everything man. Welcome to the program again, Prime Blaq. What's up with
Oh,
you,
oh
man?
yeah, oh yeah, I'm here. We live. What it do, word? What it do? What's going on? We
Oh,
live in effect.
your face ain't moving. I can hear you, but your face is not moving.
Am I
So
moving now?
anyway, we're gonna talk about what it is that you do, because you have a very extensive record. So
Yeah.
first, what is it? A very extensive catalog, as it is. So tell the audience about Prime Blaq, where you come from, what got you into the rap game, and what keeps you in it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform today. It's a humble honor. I appreciate it. Um, my name is Trayvon Ellis, aka Prime Blaq. Please remember, I make energy. That's the energy that I'm creating to build up these beautiful lives. Um, Hail from Long Beach, California. Moved all over the country, all throughout Inland Empire, San
Mhm,
Bernardino, Fontana, you name it.
mhm.
Got involved in the music around 13. It was kind of just ordained to me. You know, I went through a lot in my life. You know, I shouldn't be here, but I'm here, baby, and
Oh,
I'm
wait,
about to
wait,
make
back
and I'm
that
about to
up.
make the best of here.
Back that up. What you mean you shouldn't be here? You are. What do you mean you shouldn't be here? You're supposed to be here.
I'm supposed to
You
be
are
here,
not here by happen chance.
mm-mm. But you know how the devil worked. He'd
Yeah.
definitely try
Well,
to.
now come
He'd
on.
definitely. He'd definitely try to do what he's trying to do to take me out. So, you know, being stabbed as a kid, nah. Being molested as a kid, nah, they ain't for to take
Wait,
me out.
wait,
So for
wait,
me,
wait. Okay, wait.
that's what was the
You got
fuel for
wait. Hold
me.
on.
I know
You
it's a
got
lot. I know
stabbed
it's a
as a
lot.
child,
Yeah, 4 years old.
and you
Yep,
can
got the.
remember that.
Yep, very vividly. You know, that was
So share with us what happened.
4 years old. Burglary happened. Crackhead broke through the window, woke me up, scared him, shook him. He did what he did. Stabbed me in my leg, right, my left leg, my
You,
thigh.
you could have bled out,
Yeah, could have bled out. You know,
and so are your other family members in the house? Are you in there alone?
to my knowledge, it was just me and that energy right there. It probably was my sister, but I know it was me for sure. Um,
Hmm.
when I got stabbed, it was just that your life flashes before you at 4 years old. You don't think things like that happen to you, but hey, when it does, it does. And so for me, I knew that was special. I knew there's something like that that tried to take me out that young, and to still
Mm-hmm.
be here. I knew that I was destined for promise. I knew that I had to go through all the most tumultuous things in life to be molded into the person that I am, to be able to harness the energy that I have, to be able to tell, the eloquent stories that I do musically, whether it's sonically or lyrically. And so I think that's just important that, for me, through the traumas that we all go through, we have a positive reinforcing outlet because I didn't let that take me out. I didn't allow that to hold me down. I didn't allow that to be an identification and be like labeled under some victimization of that. That's something that you never know. And as kids, we don't protect kids as much as we need to, and we should. And that was an innocent moment in my life where somebody, to witness man's sin early in life, that humbles you, because it's like, man, I would never want that. I would never want to do that to somebody. I would never want that to happen to somebody else's kid, that happened to me. People, and a lot of my family and friends may not know no stories like that, and I just keep it close to my chest because they always know that I've always been a person that, fight through it,
Hmm.
and I'll drag it along with me and, just keep going down the road until the wheels fall off. And so for me, I used all of this pain that I've gone through in life and used it as fuel to maneuver me and guide me to the light where I needed to be at. Just having that faith of a mustard seed, never
Mhm.
sell it, never giving up. That's the number one thing. You can't give up even in the midst of that, because I've seen a lot of people, crack and go through, a lot of crazy stuff, and they look at me like, man, how did you get through it? And it's God. God. Simple as that. I know that when you go through stuff like that, take you through the most tumultuous battles and stuff like that to get you battle tested, battle ready for the things, because it's like it's a humbling experience to go through this human experience in life. And a lot of people may not know that, life molds us. Our lives all mold, all every single one of us. We all have a beautiful story to tell. And I feel like it was only eloquent of me to be able to be able to convey it through art, whether it was musically or it was, creating, visualizations, or just working creatively in the stuff that I do, building websites, doing graphic designs, all of the different creative stuff that I'm able to do, films and stuff like that. And so um, that was the outlet for me, because it was just like, you know, when you go through trauma like that, especially with us as a people, we've been dealing with PTSD and trauma for a long time. We ain't broke a lot of these cycles, and we didn't know how to get out of it. We were conditioned in the wrong ways. And so for me, you go through life and all these different crazy environments, you don't know how to get out of them. We
Mhm.
go into these habitual cycles and these stuck loops, and we don't know how to get out, and we stuck, and we drown them in substances, and we start abusing these things, and we're lost. We're like a tree with no roots, and that was something that when you got to break these generational curses, because a lot of times we don't have the people around us to be able to cultivate us. A lot of us, we don't have the OGs like we were supposed to, because they got locked up for life. So you out here really trying to wing it and swing it. When you got dumb, crazy people like that, who's out of their mind and getting away with things like that. It's interesting, because that dynamic is, as much as it's like, even based on forgive and forget. Having that forgiveness within myself, to not have that hate and that rage, to be able to suppress that and be able to know that it's gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. And that's something that's hard to be able to hold on to. That's character building. That's challenging. For
When
me.
did you know that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're 4 years old, a crackhead breaks into your house, stabs you, you're 4 years old. And then you said another traumatic thing. You said that you were molested when you were a child.
Mm,
And people that prey on children, that's the worst kind of person. I mean, it's the to prey on any human being is terrible. To do
mhm.
it to a child who who does not know what the deal is, does not know what is going on. And especially if it's somebody that you know. And was it somebody that you knew?
Yes. Yes. And it's amazing how that dynamic tends to happen. It tends to be the people that we're closest in proximity to, and you don't think the worst of these people would come out, but it's like crazy energy, right? It's like angels and demons walk amongst this earth, like how this things pop into people to teach, for them to be the lesson for you. It's like, wow, for me to come through in fruition of my life, it's like, that hate and rage, them sins like really mess with you, because like if you had the wrath, like as a parent, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying, like you find out that somebody did that to your kid, you know what I'm saying, or even the kid
You
is
going
like,
for blood.
yeah,
I'm going
it's
for
crazy.
blood.
And it's amazing how that dynamic, because a lot of people, a lot of my OGs be like, man, you a strong brother, because you didn't like, if you'd have said anything about it, you had everybody that went to jail. So it's like, man, it's crazy how that dynamic, how you can get traumatized in that capacity. And sometimes, people be like, suck it up, buttercup. And that's the machismo that we deal with in our society, where it's like, black men,
You got
supposed
to
to
man
deal with
up.
it, and they got to man up. You're like, this
You
is
gotta
some
man up.
willy, this
You
was,
gotta show your strength.
yeah.
Don't break. Don't cry.
Mm,
Don't show your emotions. Just man up. Like I could never understand that.
yeah.
Having two brothers and uncles and male cousins and what have you, I saw, that they were not allowed to speak up, to speak out, to say what their pain
Mm.
was, to say what this is wrong, and I know this is wrong. Did you ever speak up, and did you ever tell anybody, your mother, your parent, anybody in the family, or did you do but black with your machismo? Did you just suck it up and just push it down?
uh a little bit all of the above.
Mm.
you know I, for a long time, I didn't say anything, or you know um I kept it inside. You know, when you're a kid, you don't understand things like that. You know that an adult is preying on an innocent child, and children are, you know, the most closest thing to God that we got, you know, and for somebody to take advantage of that, you know, and it's a lot of that stuff going around the whole world, and we got to call it out. And I
Still
feel like
today.
still to this day, and I feel like a person that has a horn as I do right now to be able to speak about this. I've never really spoken about this publicly like that, but it ain't like I'm doing this stuff with clout and anything like that. It's just, you know, I feel like it's a story that I got to tell, even of mine, you know, and I'm humble enough to be able to have gone through, you know, everything as far as the work that I needed to do to get to this point now, because people don't understand when a person, you know, molests you and violates you and stuff like that, that person damages and or potentially destroys your spiritual energy, your spiritual shining. That was something that, from me getting stabbed, I recognized that it was just like, man, like even as a kid, you can see somebody doing that, and even when it's your own people, whether it's your own kid or it's your own kin folk, whether it's somebody of your same skin folk, you know, these are things that you wouldn't think that people would. Uh, Perpetuate onto you the same things of the Willie Lynch letter. You wouldn't think that your own people would, you know, sell you. You wouldn't think that your own people, and you're a kid, you're coming into this world just, I want to play, you know,
Well,
and you know, you don't think people of this adult stature would be that, you know,
vicious.
that
It,
vicious
it's vicious.
and cycled into the sin. But we didn't understand. Like me as a kid, like as you, they always told us go to school and get an education, and I looked at that, I was like, man, I need to figure out what I need to do to get this back. You know,
Hmm.
when you take somebody, when you molest a kid, you take their shining. And a lot of people have gone through this world like damage, and we don't even understand how many people. And I've been across this whole country, and I've seen people, and I've talked about this in this capacity because I know that I held on to it, and I use the music, and I use all of my different art forms and platforms, and my ability to be able to speak to people, to be able to talk in this capacity, to be able to open up the conversation, because I feel like our society, even our leaders that are out there, you know, even they're supposed to be actually expressing, actually, you know, coming down to speaking about these things. But at the end of the day, it's like I had to open my heart up to like let it go and let vengeance be the Lord in that capacity, just like, you know, I know that when I went through it, I knew that I needed to find a way to there was nobody, there was no resources, anything to talk about these things. Even as it in the age that we're dealing with, we got enough stuff dealing with. Rodney King getting slapped up, you know, like we got LA
Already.
riots, we got everything out here in LA was going crazy. Long
Young
Beach,
black
San
men
Bernardino,
being
just
shot to
everybody,
death.
just everything.
And,
And
and,
so
and to
that
have to,
whole yeah.
one of the hardest things as a mother, we have a son. And the hardest thing, it was really difficult for me. And I was not the right person to say any of this, because I don't know what it's like to be a black man. I don't know what it's like to be a black man, a black man in America.
Mhm.
And my husband, his dad, had to sit down and have that talk where he has to explain to his son, who is a kid, that certain things you don't do when you go out. You don't be raising your voice at the police, that having that talk, you be mindful if they take when you start driving, they tell you put your hands on the wheel so they can see it. And I couldn't I to this day, the fact that uh, our young people and the future of us is at stake, because where are the elders, where are the leaders, where are the ones that say, wait, son, this is how you do this. I mean, me personally, being mother loving, okay, I had in my head, oh my God, I could be on the front page of the mommy book because I am an awesome mom. I couldn't teach that guy how to be a man and how to be a black man. That's not my job. That's not my position. His father was there for him, and they sat down and they had the conversation. And I remember when our son he must have been about maybe 15 years old, and he
Mhm.
had the talk. He had the conversation with his dad before this, and him and his friends was out there doing some young males stupid stuff, and they took them into the room, where they I don't know, they were in a department store or whatever, and they took the fellas in the room, and they called them all down, called their parents and told them to come down to the room and get the kids because they were doing some stuff they had no business doing. Okay, our son, we get this.
Yeah.
As the police, I'm like, oh Lord, why the popo was at my door? The police is standing there, and he said, the police officer said, when he was in there, and he said, well, we gonna call your parents. He said, please don't call my mom and daddy. You don't understand. My parents is crazy. Mom,
Mm,
they you don't understand. My thing go. The police officer looked at him and thought somebody put something in him to understand, what this means. And when he said, please, my mother, father, they gonna kill me, can't you just put me just that? He said, no, I'm going to
mm,
take you home. They ain't take other boys home. The police officer brought our son home, and
wow.
he told us what happened. And our son was standing there like the Cowardly Lion in the Wizard of Oz,
Mm,
walking down that long walkway, shaking again. Oh, oh,
mm,
oh. And the police officer, he's much taller than our son, and I could see his face. And he was like, "We know he's cut from good cloth, and we thought the best thing that we could do for this young man is to bring him home." And I
yeah.
shook his hand, and I thanked him, and it was wonderful. He came in, and he was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw the movie Harlem Nights, when they put the police officer in the room and told him just.
Yeah.
He was like that. He didn't want to even suck up no air. He said, "Is my dad home?" He just, the look on his face, and it was priceless. What a lesson that young man learned at
Yeah.
that age.
I learned a lot. I learned a
So
lot.
where does your wherewithal come from, and where are our leaders? Where are the black male leaders that are guiding and directing you? Some
It's
of them
right
are
here.
guiding
You
and
talking
directing.
you talking to one of them.
Right,
You're
right.
talking to the ones that are actually up here on the forefront who are actually speaking out and actually being extremely brave to actually talk about every topic and and there nobody's exempt. We're in spiritual court right now. And everybody's deeds, whether mine's or the people that is perpetrated and violated in any capacity. We all have to walk up to the pearly gates or the gates of hell and recognize what we have all done in our life. And so for me, that was something that humbled me because I looked at it like, who do you really talk to? There's plenty of people I had the opportunity to talk to, but then there was a lot of opportunities I didn't have the opportunity to talk to anyone because most of the time these are not conversations. These were not dinner conversations.
Oh no,
Yeah, there wasn't no man at the table anyway. So it sucks because there was nobody at the table for the kids, and the kids would be left alone. And that was a dynamic where even for me. This person damaged that, and that things like that happen. They damage your shining, and most people don't have nobody to talk to, and they hold this in. And it's people that I know that are 70, 80, 90 years old that this has happened to, that I've had conversations with, and they wish that they had somebody who can be able to have a platform to be able to express and expose and talk about these things. And I think people looked at me in this conversation because of the impact that I do have with being able to talk to people across the whole country or around the whole world about this because I didn't have nobody to talk to. When I wanted to talk to somebody, they were occupied as adults. You know, coaches coaches were trying to coach, parents were trying to work. Everybody, friends was so you're dealing with these traumas going through your life, and it's like, man, I ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to say. Like, and you hold it in. You just try to suppress it, and if you don't if you don't seek out the help, especially as black brothers in this country, a lot of us are tree with no roots. To go through Willie Lynch letters, in real life and not know what Willie Lynch letters was because none of our none of our educational systems really even allowed this book to even be told to us. So
oh
it's
no,
like you got schoolwork and you got homework. So for me, knowing that I was a wild horse, it's like, damn, even the system, your family, your friends, your society, everything around you will try to buck you. They would try to buck break you and humiliate you in front of your own family and friends in any capacity. And even if you speak about this, even during that time, you was humiliated. I would see people who did speak out and they got humiliated. They got bagged on in school. And I don't know where these people are in life, but I know that for me, I was like, man, I just got to stay focused on what I'm doing because I knew that what was affecting me at the time was like, man, if I don't do something about this and turn that frown upside down, I knew that this would damage me. The time that I did have when I wanted to speak about this with my family or friends like that, it was just like it didn't even matter at that time because I knew that at that time it would have caused major chaos. And we never think about the
make the
decisions that we
decision.
make. Yeah.
You said major, it will start cause major chaos because you were able to discern what was going on in your
Yeah.
life and what people
After
were
I
doing, and
When I
the
start
fact,
educating myself, yeah, when I
right,
started
and
educating myself on it, yeah,
and people are looking at you like you a child, stay in a child's place. You know,
exactly.
even if you got that, because you're much younger than I am, and I grew up with the village. I grew up knowing that I was in a safe space. I grew up knowing that somebody was, if it wasn't my mom, I was hollering, yeah, mama. Somebody's mama was gonna come, and to
Mm,
not have that, I couldn't even imagine not having that safety net for other people. You know, we were always taught to pay it forward, always taught, you know, you treat people like you want to be treated. And then when you come up with such a um, a hard circumstance, being stabbed as a child, being molested as a child, nobody to talk to. Did you ever, coming from Long Beach, because you know Long Beach is, people might not know about Long Beach, but Long Beach is pretty cutthroat.
mm.
How were you able, and were you able to maneuver through the cutthroat environment in Long Beach? Because you know most of the young guys, you're too young to work. You know you got to help. You want to help your family out, and uh you know, and you don't have any guidance and direction. Did you find guidance and direction in another vein before you knew that this wasn't what you were supposed to be doing? Did you, how were you able to I shouldn't say how, I'm not going to be presumptuous. Were you able to avoid the gangs and the drug business, the drug dealing? You know, when they said, well, this is what you do. You can't get a job. You know, you're too young to get a job, but you can sling dope. Were
Yeah,
you able?
you have to find it. I mean, as a brother in this world, you got to find it how any way you can get it. And so for me, I knew that education opens opportunity, and opportunity opens education. And so the only way for me to better myself was to learn and figure it out. And you have to maneuver. You have to have book smarts. You have to have street smarts. You know, you have to work on your mind, body, and spirit. You know, your mental and emotional, psychological health. You know, especially if you don't have, you're not in a position to understand. You know how these things, you know, may weaken you or anything like that. Trying to adjust and move through life, you got to move however you can. You
Mhm,
know, and sometimes you got to move where you know, the decisions you make put you in a, you know, a risky situation. If you, you know, if you stay out too late before you know, the street lights come on, if you go down this street where you wasn't supposed to go down and you went, you know, so if you didn't do your homework and stuff like that, like a lot of things that, you know, that leads up to this, you know, the influence. I had a lot of positive people in my life. I had a great upbringing despite all of the crazy trauma in my life. I had a beautiful upbringing at the same time, you know, and so there's always, you know, silver at the end of that cloud. And so for me, I know that the only way to defeat any of this was success.
mhm,
You know, operating in any of the sins, you know, whether it's wrath, envy, you know, lust, you know, all of these things, you know, pride, you know, that's the easiest, that's the first sin. Like I would have failed at that, you know, I'd have been too, you know, I would have been too proud. Like, nah, man, you know, you ain't gonna do me, you know, like that, you know, like, you know, that's how
start
people get.
making the grunt sounds, and
Yeah,
the grunt
you
aren't
know,
even
you want to
coming
go
out.
handle that. It's crazy how like, you know, life will, you know, the decisions and directions you can go, it's really a beautiful, you know, game of Grand Theft Auto when you really look at it. But for me, I used everything. I used all my pain to gain. You know, we moved around a lot, so it was like,
Mhm,
yeah, it was a yeah. I lived in Long Beach. I lived in Fontana. I lived in San Bernardino. I lived in Rialto. Lived everywhere. I lived everywhere, and I got a chance to really expand my horizons and get to learn about myself and get to learn a lot more and know what was right and what was wrong.
mhm,
And from all of this, I was able to cultivate. You know, I was able to cultivate me outside of any of these frailties or these victimizations that can be branded on us to make us feel like this is who we are and this is what we got to belong to instead of being like no, we have the opportunity, you know, and the great abilities that we've been blessed with to be able to excel to our greatest standard and capacities, and why not shoot for the stars just to shoot past them. And so for me, um, when that was given to me, just that beautiful energy to kind of wake up, it woke me up, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna use all my talents and I'm gonna just go hard. Because if I was been taken out, I would have been taken out a long time. So it's like a long time ago. So for me, I'm gonna just go ahead and go to the max. And for everybody who do know me, everywhere, they know how hard that I've gone to the max and everything I've done, and I love so much. I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a Cupid. I was born on a Friday. So for me, I'm a baby Cupid. That's just me. I'm a ladies man. But for me this year, I went
Oh,
through a lot.
what you say?
went
Oh,
through,
and you know this.
yeah, I know heartbreak and
How
I
have you
broken
been
hearts.
able to keep
Mhm.
yourself grounded? Coming up with all of this angst and all of these horrific things that have happened to you. What have you done, and how have you grown as a man to know when you knew you had to stop all of this and you could take a different path and you could go in a positive direction? And where are your mentors? Is there somebody that you look to guide you as a man through life? Because they can say all they want to.
Mm.
Men need to have people mentor them as well, especially young men, because I can't teach you how to be a man. So that's why, in my opinion, God gave you a mother and a father, because
Mm.
you need that, both sides of that, to be able to maneuver through society and move through life. Who are the people that you looked up to as you were coming up, as you were developing?
I know for one, God's grace. God's grace is
Oh,
the
ain't that
one
something?
thing
Ain't
that
the grace something? Because we don't deserve not nary one of them, not nary none of that.
he has graced me with he's graced me with all of these things to get me ready
Mm.
for what's to come. And so I'm so blessed and humbled that, yeah, I went through what I went through. I can't be ashamed of it no more. I didn't already spoke about it and talked about it all over the place. And, I've gotten a chance to talk to my family about this. I spoke to my mom. I tried to speak to my dad before he passed away. I've tried to speak to, I've spoken to a lot of people. I've even confronted the man, to get that energy and
What
release off
man
of
you
me this
confronted?
year.
Wait, hold up. What man you confronted?
The person who violated me. So
You
for me,
you did?
yeah. So
How
I
did
had
that go?
that went, as expected. When a person,
And what do you expect when you confront the person who is trying to rip your very soul away from you, your very being, and you're a growing soul, you're a growing spirit, and for somebody that to do this, and then you pushed it down and pushed it down and kept it down and kept it down, and you could put all the stuff and all the things in front of you so you didn't have to confront it. What was that like for you when you were able to confront this individual?
that was just it was a lifetime of extreme exhaustion. And that was a moment in time where, well, for one, I was going through a fasting. I was fasting.
Mhm.
And the first day out of it, I was like, you know what, forget that. I'm about to just let it rip, and it required extreme bravery just to be like, you know what, we're in spiritual court and I'm not going to play with you, God. And I'm not going to hold on to nothing I don't need to be holding on to. You've given me enough to bear, and I bared it enough. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that load back to the energy where it came from, because it shall not prosper anymore. And so for me, it was very important for me through my whole life to get to this point. I would to get to this point, I had to go through spiritual studies and spiritual teachings. I had to thank, my spiritual studies for that, because that really did help me get to this point, because there was no books, there was no curriculum, there wasn't no class, there wasn't no school counselors, anybody like that to even be able to teach you and stuff like that. So yeah, I had to look at myself as my own mentor, actually
Mhm.
looking at myself in the mirror and taking accountability about it. Like, hey, how much heart do you have in here to be able to take accountability, rise to the occasion, know that it didn't take you out, and you're still here to be able to live and be a beautiful conduit and outlet for people who have gone through these traumas, because we're trying to go through our spiritual healing now at this point.
Mhm.
This is a time in our life where we're supposed to go through that cleansing and that healing. And these are things that people needed to heal from, whether it's substance abuse, trauma, childhood trauma. There's a lot of people out here who dealt with that. I'm one of them. And so for me, this was a subject that I never even talked about. We'll sit here and talk about everything else instead of the real stuff we need to be talking about in our society that really are the real problems, like that are really affecting us. And we don't think about the psyche a lot. We don't think about the mental health. We don't think about our emotional health. All of my people that I was around like started just falling off. I lost my mother in 2017. Once I lost that first spiritual umbilical cord in my life, that's anybody. To lose your mom, that's the first person you see when you come into this world. So for anybody out there, go hug your mama, man. Cause I
And
ain't,
love on
I
her.
had to go love on her, man.
And
Like, are
don't
you kidding
you
me?
can't hold
Like,
it in.
what? Yeah, go
That
hug
stuff
your
will kill
mama
you.
right now. You know what I'm saying?
That stuff
Go
will
call
kill
your
you.
mama right now.
You need to call your mother love. That's what they need
Yeah,
to do. You need to
yeah,
call her, talk to her,
yeah.
pick up the phone, text, email, whatever you need to do. Don't allow the 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 evil that's in the world to suck you in and take away
Mm,
your joy and just everything
that,
because you're holding on to it. So many people hold on to that hatred, hold on to that angst for all of their lives. I mean,
yeah.
I know a woman who just her whole and from the time she was a teenager,
Mm,
she was mad at one of her aunts because of something, whatever happened. And instead of dealing with it and facing it and saying, okay, this is what happened, this is how I feel, I'm just gonna stay mad. I'm just gonna stay mad. And a lot of people are like that. And you after a while you ask them, so why are you still mad at so and so and such and such? I don't
mm,
know. I just can't stand them. I don't want to be. Okay, so that's sucking up energy that you could be using for peaceful things.
mm-hmm.
With looking at it a way to cleanse yourself. You mentioned the Almighty several times in our conversation. How how are you able to have that conversation with God and know that your arm? What they made there was a play called "Your Arms Too Short to Box with God," and you
Yeah,
said, "Look, okay, God, I ain't even trying to play with you. Let me know what I need to do. I'm a broken vessel. Fix me, help me, heal me," and you do. And what people don't understand is when you live a life of forgiveness, you
yeah,
don't carry that all the time and say, "Oh yeah." When you do it, you say it, you mean it. You gotta let it go. Gotta let that rabbit set.
yeah,
Just leave that alone. You can't say, "Oh, I'm sorry that I did so and so to you, and will you forgive me?" And you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Did you know what your out? Because you're still growing, you still going. Who
yeah.
are you? I mean, you got to have mentors. You got to have people around you. Who are some of the people that you are around now that you trust? Because when you said you cut that first umbilical cord when your mother left the planet, I know what that's like. We belong to the Dear Mamas Club,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just not a good place to be. But you have to learn to make it a good place.
Yeah,
I
I had
really
to.
did not think I could live without. I did not think for 1 second I could live without my mother. I did not. I mean, I talked to her all the time. I didn't realize that how important that relationship was to me, you know. And when did you know that your relationship with your mother was going to be the one of the most important relationships in your life? And what was the greatest advice she ever gave you?
Greatest advice: ride this thing until the wheels fall off.
That's what you got to do.
Ride this thing until the wheels fall off. That's one I can come right off top. But as much as I honor thy mother, I honor thy father as well. He wasn't in my life as much as I would have desired him to be. But as a kid, you don't understand these things that parents go through. You just leave it at to trust them, and they got the authority to be able to look out for you and take care of you. But as much as I love my mother, I love my father because in his going, because he passed away. Not too long ago, a little over a year ago, around the same time. And so for me, I got a chance to like really connect back with him just from his passing because it was just like, man, like we didn't get a chance to really connect, but just like spiritually, I watched him, change his life. And I looked at that, because when you don't have your parents around. I'm the oldest of nine on my father's side. So for me,
See, so you're
yeah, so
expected to do well. You're
yeah,
expected to be the example for your siblings. You're expected
sure.
to man up and do all the right things, and oftentimes take on that father role.
Mm,
Because as you said, he wasn't in your life as
mm.
much as you would have wanted him to be.
Yeah, but he
And
was, and the thing is, he was, and he is. When you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, when you really humble thy heart, and I had to honor that. Like he tried to change his life in the tail end of his life, and I was like so proud of it because, that let me know that I have promise as
mm,
well. In
mm.
my beautiful tender age, today is my birthday, and
Happy
so
birthday to ya. Happy birthday, you ya. Happy birthday. Wait a minute. Okay, now here
yeah.
you flirted
So
so and on your birthday. Thank you for sharing your birthday with me.
thank you for
I
allowing me
had
to
to stop.
share
I
them.
had to, smooth my head down, take my wig hat off so I could get my head out the door because my head gonna be this big.
Yeah.
I get to talk to Prime Blaq on
Oh
his
yeah.
birthday.
Oh
Ah,
yeah. But I
get your
stick and it's
I
beautiful.
know you better recognize.
This is a celebration today because of how much we don't realize how much we really need to work on ourselves. And this year, this time since COVID was a time for us all to work on ourselves. And the spiritual work is something that we have digressed from, and people don't realize and wonder why things are really happening in your life that you didn't expect to happen, but they've been rocking your world. And it's like you, I didn't understand that, when I lost my father. I wound up cremating my father and burying my grandmother and losing my grandmother in the same week. So that was like soul crushing for
Oh,
me last year. I had to like I was checked out. I was really going through it even to this day. And I was like, man, I needed to really do the work. I needed to do the spiritual work to actually heal from all of this, because it's like, man, my outside shine is so bright. Everybody know me. I'm everywhere. All this stuff. I'm connected. And it's like, man, none of that mattered. None of that matters. Like money don't make you happy.
it doesn't.
Money don't make you happy.
And I want
My
to say this.
happiness makes the money, but that's where it's like the genuine peace that I needed to have in my life. And a lot of people don't genuinely have that peace, and they're not even trying to actually do the work, to
Because
actually
it's
do
too
the
much.
spiritual work. It's
Wait a
too
minute, it's
much
too
because
much.
you're overwhelmed.
It's too hard. If I just ignore it, it'll go away. I don't have time to sit in it. People don't want to sit
Mm,
in their angst, to face it, to do whatever it is that they need to do like you said, do the work. You got to do the work. When you don't do the work and you keep saying, oh, it's going to change, but you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and or not doing the same thing, it's crazy if you think you're going to get another outcome. You have to sit in your sugar honey iced tea. You got to sit in it and be ugly with it, and you be crying and rolling all around on the floor. And most people don't want to do that because a lot of people, and I know this I know this as a fact, when people who don't sit in their angst to accept what it is, to
mhm.
accept who they are, and start to say, I don't want to be this person. I'm not going to let this just take me out. I can get into a place of peace. A lot of people just simply don't want to do the work because oftentimes they don't know how long it's going to take to get to the other side of the work. And they
Mhm.
want to hurry up, hurry up, hurry. And see, that's when it's important for you to have a spiritual connection with the universe. How do you stay connected to the universe? Because you speak of the Almighty all the time.
Yeah, I just had to really tap back into that spiritual energy. I had to really find out who am I?
Mhm.
Why am I here? Why did I go through what I went through? Like this ain't happen chance. Like I really had to understand who am I? Where did I come from? Why did I go through these things? And sometimes you really don't get those teachings, and even the churches that we are in, and we don't even get those teachings when we're at home. We don't even get those teachings when we're in classes and stuff like that. And so for me, the advent of the technology, me being a young cat and being involved in technology, and you start finding people who have that same, that vein of energy and knowledge to kind of help you out. And spiritually, now I look at it like, I have to, shout out my spiritual teacher, Big Levi. He really did help me out in a lot of time this year because of just doing the emotional work,
Wait, you
doing
went you went by that really fast. Who did you say was your mentor?
Big Levi, definitely.
Big Levi.
Yeah, I got
Tell
to
us
shout him
about
out.
Big Levi. It's always
Definitely.
good to be able to share, the people who are working with you, working through them, and
Mhm.
having that voice to be able to bounce off of, to hear. Tell me about Big Levi. I even like
uh
his name.
Man, it came to me. uh it's just divine purpose. He's
Mhm,
a fellow that I came across on YouTube, and
mhm,
just everything that we needed to know and learn about ourselves and healing.
mhm,
Not in the aspect of just medically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. We really had to do the work, you know. And for me, I realized that there was much more to the work that I needed to do than just going to the gym.
mhm,
There was much more, and there's so many people who are going through these things, and there really was never really a trusting outlet like that. And when I
mhm,
started really, I listened to one video and it just made me cry like a baby. It just broke me down and let me know, like, I need to do this spiritual work. And a lot of us need to understand that we need to do the spiritual work right now in the times that we're living in, because they are crazy. In order for us to be blessed with all of the things, you gotta break down the things that have happened in your life. You gotta break
mhm,
down the things that have gone on, and why are you here? What are you doing? And to have that deep introspection, I had to really understand. I had to get rid of a lot of scumbag ways. I had to cut a lot of my own self off, a lot of my own ways. A lot of the people that I was around, they weren't conducive and productive to me doing the things that I needed to do and aspiring. And when you don't have the right environment, my mentors, I had to reconfigure those and find mentors that were, whether they're close or in close in proximity or in
mhm,
far distance. Um, you know, Big Levi was just a brother, man, that just humble servant of the mighty one, and the teachings that allowed us to be able to learn about ourselves again, from scratch. And that was something that I needed to learn. Like, how do I get this energy back? And that was something
mhm,
that broke me. I was thirsty for this energy, because it was like I'm dying inside. I'm successful and all these things are going on, but it's like I can't imagine, people hearing my story and like, man, I didn't know that was really going on with him. And a lot of us don't really talk about the things that were going on. Most don't have no therapist that they go to. Most of them got friends and family that they talk to, but really are not the most uh, conducive and productive outlet to be able to express things, because they're not the actual person that is relatable, or have the capacity to give you the expertise that can guide you
mhm,
from that point, and give you the curriculum, or the help you, and help empower you to, to
mhm,
to to find a way to fish yourself out of the gunk that because we all got gunk. We all got our own thing that we got to work ourselves through. And for me to be able to write it out, and do the work this year. I think that's important. Everybody needs to be able to do a background check on yourself spiritually,
mhm,
mentally. You need to rock your own bells, because I think the time that we're living in now, even for me, the content that I'm doing, the way that I'm moving, like I'm. Today is the last day of my 40-day fast, and this is coming from, being in these classes and doing these studies and actually elevating myself and wanting to be better, wanting to do better. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. I'm 38 today.
Oh, wait,
You know,
hold up, wait.
um,
What?
so
Okay. So, ladies, here is a beautiful young Black man, not married,
mm,
doesn't have any kids, working on himself. This is the kind of guy that you say to me, "Oh, mother love, this is the kind of guy I want." Why have you been able? Have you been dodging marriage and starting a family, or are you working on you so that you will be present in that relationship?
I
And
ha-
what do you look for in a woman? I mean, because I would think, just talking to you like this, I think you would trip. I think you would trip a lot of women out, because they're like, what? He talking about the mighty one. He talking about working on himself. Wait a minute, what? Something got to be wrong with him, and he's not gay.
no,
Not
I
that
love
there's anything wrong with being
I
gay.
love vagina, ladies. It's 2023. You gotta kind of grab her. Ooh, gotta make sure. No, let me stop, y'all. Yeah,
We
about
were
to stop
having
stuff.
a very
No,
ethereal conversation, and about some really deep stuff. But and that is part of what is healing. When you can
but
look at it, you sat in it, you know that you can change it, you know you can work it. You'll get on the other side of this crazy, and
yeah,
you do
this
it with a
world,
sense of humor.
you
I mean,
got
I
to.
never would have
I
thought you would have thumbs up for vagina.
Yeah, I'm a funny guy because the stuff that I've been through is crazy. You gotta laugh at my pain. I mean, I've been crying, so somebody gotta laugh. Shit, excuse my language. You
Five
know,
dollars.
$5, I got you. Um, but for me, I needed to work on myself. It was
Mhm.
hard because I didn't want to be irresponsible with that responsibility of being knowing that I'm gonna be blessed with all of this abundance in my life, from tangibles and intangibles. I needed to work on myself. It's not healthy. It's not healthy it's never healthy getting in a relationship and you dealing with your own toxicity. You dealing with your own brokenness and shattered pieces, and you're still putting them together, and this person is overwhelmed. They got to worry about putting their own pieces together. We all got to worry about putting our own pieces together. So when I eventually am able to put together my pieces, and I'm seeing them put together their pieces, then you actually can bring that together. But I knew that to break generational curses, we didn't realize that we were still in Jacob's trouble. I didn't know that there was a Jacob's trouble. I didn't know until you actually open up your Bible and actually read it and actually do some studying,
And
that, oh wow,
understanding.
and understanding that, wow, this is some stark stuff that we never even knew that I needed to pay attention to. And for me, I needed to be ye separate, saith the Lord, touch not the unclean thing. And I needed to stop touching my own self to where, Trey, you're doing the wrong thing, man. You need to stop doing the wrong thing. I had to be a father to myself. I needed to be a teacher to myself in order to be a father to my legacy. Like, we got to stop bringing kids into this world irresponsible and not doing the work ourselves. So in the midst of that, even if you're in the midst of doing the work yourself, bring your kids involved into that. Your kids need, at least give your children a fighting chance, even if you might not have had your father around. You might not have been able to, you've been locked up, you didn't have a crazy childhood growing up, or you can't find a job or anything like that. There's so many different avenues, and especially now I tell people, they always reach out to me, and I appreciate that, because they be like, yo, Trey, like, help me out, hook me up, man. Like, what do I need to do? Like, I got an injury, man. I can't work no more. What can you do to help me? I'm like, well, learn about the stock market, learn about real estate, do something that's going to be a positive reinforcing outlet to be able to take you from the trajectory of that raining cloud of you dependent on thinking you got to do physical attribute of work. Like, you can use your mind, like, use that, find
Use
out
your
other ways.
heart.
Yeah, use
Use
your
your
heart.
mind, use your heart, use your whole body.
Yeah,
We have a tendency to want to compartmentalize our bodies. Oh, this is in my head, but that's
yeah,
not in my heart. Oh, this is, oh, they're going to cut off my hand. Something. We are an entity,
yeah.
whole and complete. Pieces, parts, they do matter. And you got to understand, even if you don't have a pieces part, you can still make
Mm,
a difference in people's lives. God rest her
uh,
soul. My baby sister, her birthday was the day before yesterday. I think it was on Monday, and she was a person who had type 1 diabetes almost 99% of her life.
mm,
And when they amputated her leg, and she was like, she never said, I can't do this, I gotta do, and she did. She opened up started her own business, became very successful at it, and people were like, well, you're in a wheelchair, and she said, and your point would be what? My brain is working, okay, so
mm,
they took off my leg, okay, is not going to diminish me. And a
mm,
lot of times people will let what's happening to them,
mm.
they just allow different things, and they don't stop and say, well, let me just move this out the way, out of my spirit. Let me clean this part of my spirit out, so I can, as one of my grandsons would say, because we got to do some more else stuff.
Yeah, it's
How do you stay in tune with the universe? What is your methodology to say, I am one with the universe and I know that I belong here?
I
And
just
what have
look.
you learned about yourself?
I learned that I'm a very strong man, and I
Now,
give it. Yeah,
color me surprised.
yeah. I'm a very strong man, and I'm a very humble man. Um, I am very grateful and appreciative. I don't take anything for granted. And I know that I had to do the work because I did not want to debilitate any woman. I realized how humble that I needed to be, that I needed to, and I know that I was a ladies' man. I needed to be out of the relationships that I was in because I was not fitting for them. I didn't elevate myself. And the fact that I've elevated myself to the capacity that I did the work to be able to be better for having a healthier relationship with myself, having a healthier relationship with my significant other and partner, to be able to have the proper relationship that a parent, a father should have with their children. You know, it's a difference between being and doing. And I know for me, like I didn't want to be, you know, a bad example, you know, and I'm not perfect or nothing like that, but I am striving to do the best I can, to be the best I can. And so, you know, bear with me. I ain't perfect, you know, but I know that, you know, if I'm doing the work now, I'm hoping that you're doing the same work. I'm expecting it from me, so I'm expecting it from everybody around me, because we all gotta expect greatness out of us. The Lord Almighty expects the same, you know, and we can't play around with this. We in spiritual court, and that's one thing I'm not gonna play with is God. That's one thing I'm not going to do. And I know that the relationship that I really seriously want to have with the person that I'm gonna be with, it needs to be serious, because I take myself serious.
Mhm.
How we gonna have a first
Yeah,
date at
but
McDonald's?
yeah, but for the most part, you take yourself serious.
Yeah.
But you can't be just stoic and serious all the time. You got to
Mhm.
have an avenue for brevity. You have to have an avenue for lightheartedness. You have to have the attitude that you are a great light. You
Mhm.
are a great light, and you know you can tell a lot about a person and what their personality is like when they're around animals and children. Kids have no filter. Animals don't even know what that means. You put a
Mhm.
child or an animal around somebody, and when the animal, you know, that's not somebody you want. When the little babies be,
Yeah.
you know, that's not somebody you want to be around. And
Mhm.
when you say, you know, you're working on yourself, and
Yeah.
she needs to be working on herself, uh, you know, you got don't come to the table with the pieces all broke up. Come to the table of
And we
hope,
don't
love,
and sometimes
home.
we don't know we're broken pieces. And
Right.
you know, but sometimes the people around us may let us know that, hey, you're a broken piece and you need to go get fixed, you know. And so sometimes we like need to humble ourselves and take accountability. Like, man, I may need to listen to that person. They may actually be telling me something of sincerity that I need to take consideration of that. And I feel like that's why I'm so thankful to a lot of the studies that I've had with Big Levi, because I feel like that really, that we need that. We need that
Tell
energy,
us
you
what
know,
that's
from
what that's about with Big Levi, and what would you say to other people who are looking for guidance and direction and looking for a mentor? What would you say, especially the young black men, to get them to understand? Like I said, I can do all the things that a mommy does. I cannot teach a
mm,
man, teach a boy
yeah.
how to be a man, and I understand that, and I respect that position in the men that have been around my husband, who have
Hmm.
been around our son. You know, I see the relationships. My husband got people, and so do I. We have people we've been friends with since we were little kids. You know, and they're not just friends. They become your family. They become the people that you can depend on and to trust. What would you say to a young guy who is out here? Because a lot of young people are out here ambling. They don't know what to do. They're scared to go outside. The pandemic just crushed everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, that was an equal opportunity destroyer. And it
Mm.
cared anything about how cute you were, what you did,
No.
and we need leaders. And I look around. I'm like, where are the leaders? Then I realized I have to be one of the leaders. I
Yeah.
shouldn't look around. I've got to take on that responsibility, and I do. And if it were easy, everybody could do it. But nobody ever said it was going to be easy to face
Mm.
yourself, to face your demons. And like you said, we are in spiritual warfare. And people got to remember, Satan believes in God. Lucifer is scared of God. That's why he coming at you for every little thing he can get, any kind of way he can nitpick at you, like a thief coming in the night to steal, to rob, and to destroy. And you got to have your whole armor on. You know,
And that's
I got my armor on. Okay, yeah, it's full of chinks and nicks and tucks, and you know, people
mm,
be asking, "Well, what's that one over there?" Listen, don't
as
even.
as
I
mine.
want to help you not have to go through the hell that I have been through.
Hmm.
And what would you say from the teachings and the learnings that you learned from Big Levi, the one that is mentoring you? What would you say to other young men who might not know who he is and ought to know who he is and ought to know who you are and what
It's
you bring into the table?
it's amazing, because it's just like throughout my whole life, I feel like my dreams and visions and my everything led me that moment to be able to come across these teachings. If anybody out there, especially young brother, I highly suggest it, because I feel like there's not many avenues out there of the type of work that we need to be instructed to do. Like I said, some of the mentors I have out there, Mr. Kennedy Rogers, my uncle, I got, you know, uh, Dr. Claude Anderson, Big Levi,
Mhm.
Louis Farrakhan, you got Dr. Umar Johnson.
Mhm.
There's so many names of people who are actually out here, Killer Mike, people who are actually out here really doing the work that needs to be done to um, make a better life for ourselves. Even for me, I'm out here. I've been across the whole country and spoken to people. I'm trying to build Wakandas everywhere. So I mean,
Okay.
so all you brothers out there listening, out like listen up. Like we talking, we out here. I'm in these streets. You got these questions. You need the information. Whether it's financially, emotionally, mentally. These are things like us brothers are talking, and we used to talk and yell out loud, and most people wasn't listening. So we got quiet. We got quiet, and we let the energy speak. If you are drawn to it and you understand, like, hey, there's something I need to do something different, and if you want to do something different and you need time to actually, like, get into meditative space, your meditative space, and pray on the things, and work that out. Like I said, the teachings that I got from Big Levi was just amazing for me, because the stuff that I went through,
Mhm.
there was nobody that I didn't find. I didn't know, there was no other source to tell me that what happened to me just would damage me. You know what I'm saying? In a
Mhm.
different capacity, spiritually and emotionally. That where it trickled down, everything is a compounding factor. Even though it brings out the greatest out of us. If you are in control of that, if you can control everything in this wicked world, then it's your oyster at that point, and then you can come back and be a testimony to people. And I feel like the lessons that I've gotten from all of this through this whole year, um, of losing everything, I've lost everything to gain a beautiful relationship, not only with myself, but with the mighty one above. And I think that's just very important for people to recognize, like, right now is the time, right now, that you need to be working on self. Fast, repent, pray, and repeat. Do the work. Do the introspection. Do the work. Even for me, write it down. Do your creative work. If you are a carpenter, do whatever you need to do to get that pain out of you, to be able to be, let it be of a presentation, a representation, not only of you, but of others that need that outlet as well, to empower them. So keep doing the work, like I'm doing the work. Going into 2024 is all about the self work. It's all about the self work. Take care of yourself. Cut out all white sugar. Take a million steps. Go on a 40-day fast, however you want to do it throughout the year.
That's the one
Yeah.
thing I'm not able physically to do because of my delicate constitution. The other part, we can do that.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
The $5 challenge. Cut
okay,
out.
see, I want.
Yeah.
I was just getting ready to
Yeah.
ask you. Tell me,
Cut
share with people what the $5 challenge is
the
for
the five
2024.
the $5 challenge. We are trying to get
Stop
everybody
saying
to
trying. You doing it.
we
Yeah,
are getting we are
yeah,
getting
yeah.
everybody to do the $5 challenge, that has been initiated by Big Levi. This is for all of us as a collective, as a nation, to be able to understand that, hey, we have been financially irresponsible with our power, and our buying power is like that. So you need to be able to understand, put $5 a week, add $5 on top of that, and be able to understand that this is financial discipline within your own structure. Poor stands for people overlooking opportunities repeatedly. We want people to get out of the poor financial
Oh,
mentality, to
that
get out of that
fragile
poor,
mentality.
get out
When
of
we
it for
work
yourself.
together, when
Yeah.
we work together, we are awesome. And that frightens a lot of people who are in power because they know when the
Mhm.
power comes, like you said, building Wakanda everywhere,
Yeah.
all over. We have to look out for each other. And we can't do that if we're not well. We
Yeah.
can't go out and, talk to people about what we've done. I'm not trying to change any well, I am trying to change people's life by what I do and being a living example.
Yes.
Okay, so let's be speaking of being a living example.
Yes.
You're also the CEO of Billion Dollar Bangers. Tell us
Billion
about
dollar bangers.
Billion Dollar Bangers.
Billion dollar bangers is my music company that has have graced all of the world. I am playing everywhere.
Mhm.
I'm Googleable. I've done music.
Is that a word?
I'm Googleable.
Okay, well, see, now that
Look
is a
up
word because I
Prime Blaq,
understand what you're saying.
PRIMEBLAQ. I've been everywhere, not only digitally but also in these streets.
Mhm.
So I'm like one of them, like Loch Ness monsters, like one of them, Yetis that's out here. But I've done a lot of work in the community, not only just across the whole country, like from that standpoint, even just creating these conversations just from a human standpoint, but just the amount of stuff that I've gone through, like I've been banging on this door of success, of like of happiness, that don't let your traumas take you out. Like, you got to keep valuing yourself. You got to keep busting down and banging down all of your own barriers that you put up for yourself. You got to bust down any societal barriers, family barriers, any type of barrier that is in your way. You just got to just bust it down. And I feel like with the music that I'm creating, it has that energy. And so, going into 2024, a lot of my fans are going to be excited. I'm going to be able to release a lot of the content that I've had over the years. So you're going to be able to go to Spotify, Apple, all these different platforms, and get a whole Netflix of my music. So I want to be able to bless the whole world with the energy, with the music that I've had over the compass of a lot of these years, to get them ready in anticipation for the music that I really want to drop going into the end of next year. And so I'm just gearing everybody up. So, just stay tuned in to everything. We got the merchandise, $1 billion bangers. You can holler at me at Prime Blaq, shining and gleaming and glistening. You know what it is. But um, I wanted to be an inspiration and a motivation to all of them people out there, especially to anybody who has gone through the stuff that I've gone through. Know that you can come out on the top. You can come out on the other end of that. A beautiful rose that grew from concrete, and I don't want you to ever sell your mustard seed. Don't give up on yourself. Please don't. Keep holding on. Keep holding on. I know them tears, cry to keep going. Don't cry to quit. If you're gonna fall,
That's
don't
it.
fall back, fall forward. Keep going.
That's it.
Don't give up on yourself. You
You
didn't have
don't.
all this stuff. I didn't have people try to take me out. I had friends and family give up on me, let me go, cut me loose, and thought that I wasn't nothing, and it was ashamed of me. Didn't want to stick around, hang around no more. And look at where I'm at now.
Because you're on a different
Have to,
trajectory than
yeah,
they are, and
from doing the work.
oftentimes it's you are allowing them to see the inadequacy that they think they have. Like, oh, he think he better than I am. Oh, look at him, he all in the rap game. Oh, look, he on the Mother Love show. Oh, look, he going around to the, doing this, traveling around the country. Oh yeah, so he been to the Grammys. Okay, okay, yeah, okay, right, whatever. Okay, speaking of that, what was that like going to the Grammys?
I mean, that was one of the bucket list boyhood dreams, after dealing with what I went through as a kid. I'm like, man, I deserve to be on stage dancing like Michael Jackson. I see Michael Jackson out there. I'm like, man, shoot, I'll be there one day. I'm like, you know what? I ain't even he. Nah, I mean, I can do that too. And so for me, I just knew that I just had that energy to, fascinate and entertain and wow people, around me. And it was just destined. And so for me, that was on the bucket list of like, I know that I needed to be here. I
Mhm.
know that I had a loud horn and I needed to blow it as loud as I possibly can to bring in. This is Ezekiel 33. So that's why I tell everybody this is biblical. This is everything that I've been, a culmination. And so for me to get there, that was a that was a testament to the amount of hard work that my mama put in to
Mhm.
get me here. That was a testament for my father putting in the hard work to get me here, and to all the people that were around me in my life to get me here. So for me, I wanted it to be a moment of, hey, we all made it. The little person that ain't never thought they had a chance and then was casted out and was unwanted, like hear me and on this grand stage, looking up amongst the rest of the people in my industry, amongst my peers, and they resonate and vibrate with me just as much as any, if even if I wasn't in here, if I was just standing on the street corner, having a coffee with an old man, who was a billionaire. So for me, like, I've been able to go through life, whether it's at the Grammys or on the street, knowing that I've been able to captivate people. So to have that experience was just something that I wanted to showcase as, my niece and nephew said,
You on the
if it ain't on the
internet?
gram, it ain't on the gram, it ain't real. So I was like, you know what? Let me get that chick chick, so but yes, I've been in a
When they
yeah.
told me that, I was like, "Is that how you look at reality? If it's not on the internet, it didn't happen." And they
Yeah.
all went in unison, "Yes." You
Yeah.
got to have it on the internet. One of my granddaughters said, you need to get a TikTok page. I'm like, what the heck is a TikTok? I thought she said, I thought
Mhm.
she meant a tic tac, the mint. And
Yeah.
I said, what, you saying my breath smell funny? I need to get a tic tac. She
Yeah.
said, no, you need a TikTok page. Didn't know what the heck she was talking about. She says, I'm gonna get you a TikTok page. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
What's with the TikTok? So I'm learning from the young people, how to stay current, how to stay abreast. A
Oh yeah.
lot of it can be quite intimidating, but I'm not going to let the internet take me down, even though I said it's evil, and there's evil everywhere. We have to be able to discern what is good and what is bad for us. We see we have to be able to take that responsibility. So so what's coming up for $1 billion bangers and Prime Blaq coming up in the future for 2024? I know we got the $5 challenge, the
Yeah.
million steps. Look, y'all done went into deep third, a million steps. Lord, I could walk from here across to
That's
America
that's
before a million.
2,500 steps a day. That's 2,500 steps a day.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So so
so
yes,
I
that's
have to worry
very
about doing 10,000 steps every day.
not every day. You can do
Oh,
it's 2,500 on average you can do that'll get
mm.
you there.
Okay,
So,
I can do
yeah.
that. See, you're
So
breaking it down where it makes sense.
exactly,
We can do this.
it
And the $5 a week challenge,
yeah,
explain that a little bit more for people so they
it,
can
it's
get that.
it's amazing because it's giving our people back the financial discipline we need to have where people cut out that pack of cigarettes, cut out that alcohol, that black amount, that bag of marijuana, cut back on, buying, it's teaching you financial discipline to let you know like, hey, you have not only financial, but you have economic and political power, especially going into the environment that we're going into around the country. We need people to understand how much power that you have and to empower the next generation. And we do, like as you say, with the mentors, with the people moving forward who are the new levels of media, speaking of the people like Jason Black, like Big Levi, like me, like a bunch of other brothers that are out here. We speaking out and we're creating the levels of tangibles to be able to empower people like Dr. Claude Anderson by creating these books. I want people to understand that they can get to these books. I want them to understand Big Levi is creating a phenomenal book that should be in every black person's home, and I think this is important. That's why I'm yelling this out loud because this
Mhm.
changed my life, and this is on my birthday, and the work that I did just to even get
And
to
it's
this
your
point.
birthday. Happy
Yeah,
birthday. It's your
so
birthday.
for me, like this, today is the last day of my fasting, and so for me, I've gotten a chance to get so much work done in this time frame right now to where like I'm ready to go into 2024, ready to chew on it like a chew toy. I'm a monstrosity right now. Like people ain't ready. They not even ready for the work that they're like y'all can if you purchase the stuff. I think it's just go to Google, go to any platforms, support the music as this is going on. Like people are getting this is an investment. You invest in your time, you invest in your energy just as much as I'm investing the energy into y'all to be able to be that next level of media and that next level of influence to be able to comprehensively lay it out for our people and let it be the truth, let it be known in the best possible way because we have been lied to, we have been duped, we have been
And we
tricked
went
and
for it.
hoodwinked, and we went for it, and we
We
got to be humbled that we took the L, but we need to turn it into a W. So how do we fix all of that? Well, we need to be able to scrape back the skin, we need to pull back the weeds, we need to do the dirty work and clean all of our own dirty drawers and really get in there. And so for me, I want to be able to create a class where people can come in and we can chop it up and you got these questions and I got the resource to kind of just I got the hookup. So hey, if y'all got any suggestions and questions, go to Prime. My email is primeblack@icloud.com. At least hit me up there. If you got some serious inquiries where we can start developing this, going into 2024. I'm doing that now. I'm doing that currently. So I'm signing up people. I'm working on all of my different things. I'm working on new music. I'm working on film scripts, TV scripts. I'm working on a book my own self. I'm working on websites. I'm doing all of the different designs. I'm working on your website. So everybody who's out there, go and check it out. Motherloveshow.com is going to be getting
Well, that
featured
was a
really
great
soon.
plug.
So yes, I have a lot of abilities and talents. You guys are really going
Yes,
to be
you do.
seeing me everywhere. Just
Yes, you
because you
do.
haven't seen me on social media haven't mean that I haven't been in these streets. I'm like a myth. So they like I'm the most interesting man out here in the streets. Like I've seen him before. He's been at this event. I've seen him here. He worked at Costco. I've seen him in the Walmart. So for me,
Right.
it's like it's amazing that I'm able to tap into people. So looking into 2024, I feel it's an exciting time for us to get back out and talk to the people. The people need to come out and come and talk to me. They
Right.
need to be able to have a platform where they can actually express how they really truly feel about the things that are going on. And hey, we got solutions for that.
That's it. We can sit and complain about all the problems
All
we
that.
have all day long. Let's get to the point, and that's the point where I am in my life. Come to me. Let us find a solution. I know
Yes.
you got issues. I got issues too. I'll
Yeah.
tell people all the time. If anybody need therapy, it's us. I need therapy, but I'm not paying somebody to tell me I'm crazy because I already know that. That's
Mm,
I'm tell me something that I don't know, and it's not like I'm like loopy. Well, yeah, sometimes I could be loopy crazy, but that's the fun part about it because you can come back. What do
mm.
you want people to know most about you that we don't know? We found out that you're a very spiritual guy. We found out that you're not married, don't have any children. We found out that you love your mother, you love your father, you honor your parents so that your days are long. People always say, well, I can't stay on my mama. It's not even about you and that. You honor your parents because they brought you here. You're
Yeah.
not here. I don't believe that one person on the planet is a mistake. You're here by happen chance. I don't care if you hit the planet
Some people should have been in a napkin.
what
And
you
some people should have been in a napkin.
and we go
And
down that hole. I am so glad we got that. You really tried. You really tried to go.
God
Oh,
bless your
I
mama.
know. You got a sick, twisted mind. And this is what we need. We need to have that brevity. We need to be able to find that balance. We need to, and see me. I'm just a goofball in a waterhead. I don't take life serious.
Mm.
I'm not coming out of this alive. So I am going to ride it until the wheels fall off. Prime Blaq,
Oh
Mr.
yeah.
Trayvon Ellis, I thank you for putting your energy into the world and
Yes.
sharing your energy and continuing to do what you do, young son.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue to do what you do. Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday. Peace and there you go. Okay. See, I was trying to
Got
help.
to turn up. Got to get ready to turn up.
Yeah, get ready to turn up. Get ready to turn it up.
Thank
Peace
you.
and blessings to you, my young brother. We'll talk
Thank
soon. And babies, remember this: no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then.